Welcome to the UK's first metal detection podcast. It's All Metal Mode UK with your host from across the pond, Mr. Michael Hare. Nocta Macro Detectors is the fastest growing manufacturer in the industry, and for good reason. Many detectorists, including Mike Hare, call us the most innovative, but we are so much more than that. We listen to and care about our customers. We also offer a wide range of detectors to fit all of your needs. Come check out all of our products today at www.noctadetectors.com. Detectors for everyone, everywhere. A lifetime.
Hello everybody, this is Mike Hare and you're listening to the All Metal Mode UK podcast. Dave's having some issues. He is back from vacation, major computer issues. I don't know if he'll be joining us. Hopefully he'll just be joining us late. So there you go. If you're a first-time listener, if you've never been in chat, jump in chat. We'd love to have you. It's very simple to do. With the show up, the rectangle comes across the bottom with the pause and play button and all that. It should have just the pause button right now. If you hit it, it'll show the play button. But anyhow, if you click on that bar, you'll see a little bubble pop up and you can join chat. I think you've got to sign up. You do, but you can do it through Facebook or whatever, and then you can join us in chat. There's always a little side chat going on, and you can also ask questions and all that. Don't forget to check out archmdmag.com. And I want to talk about something real quick. I'm going to make it super quick. When I had Addicted to Bleeps on, we got into some bathroom humor, and that put a few people off, and I just want to apologize. I want to explain myself a little bit. A lot of people like myself who have dealt with anxiety and panic attacks, we also deal with bowel issues, and I was just trying to make light of that. I understand for some it went on too long, and I should have we should have kept it to a minimum. For those that it went too far, I apologize for that. On Facebook, you can follow us at All Metal Mode Podcast UK, Metal Detecting UK Dirt Fishing, Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine, Archaeology and Metal Detecting Facebook group. Don't forget, tell your friends about us. Anybody that metal detects, we'd sure like all the listeners we can get and conversations in chat. You can find us on Spreaker when the show goes live. You can also listen anytime from Spreaker. You can download from Spreaker. You can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify. We're all over the place. If you do a Google search of All Metal Mode UK, we'll pop up a lot of different places. You can, again, listen live and join chat, or you can listen on your commute, download it. Whatever fits you the best, but we'd appreciate you tell your friends and family, grandparents. We don't care, anybody that might enjoy it. ArchMD Mag, I think they're still looking for some articles for their printed magazine. It's an awesome opportunity to get published. It doesn't have to be hoards and gold coins. It can be quirky, fun, informational, whatever. They're just looking for whatever. So there we go. Dave called me while I was going through all that. So, I apologize to everybody. Give me 1 second. Let me get Dave in. I do believe he's up and going now. And, we'll get him added so he can do the news and everything. And, hopefully we'll get this show off without a hitch. Might take a few seconds to get him in, but we're working on it. Just bear with us. I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. Tonight's guest is going to be Anthony. I think he goes by Tony Cawood, and Adrian Gayler. Hope I said their names right. I'm so glad Dave is back from vacation. I hope he's got a few minutes. We can put a few minutes in there and hear how his vacation went, because that would just be lovely. And I'm so glad that I don't have to do the news. I was practicing before Dave got on. I didn't know if he was going to be able to make it, and I was practicing it in a proper English accent, and I sounded somewhat between Australian and maybe a little bit of it's almost like I think I could sing reggae. I think, Dave, if you're there with me now.
I'm certainly am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are, buddy. Glad
Here
to have
I
you on. Before we get started with the news, tell me about the vacation. I haven't even got a chance to talk to you yet.
Oh, vacation. It was all right. It was very relaxing. Saw some fantastic sights. Went on Jeep safaris. Saw some awesome Ottoman ruins when I was on a cruise on a gulat. A gulat, is that the right word? A gulat. It's the small sailboats. So yeah, I had a fantastic time. Didn't get to Kornos, unfortunately, but I did view the rock tombs at Dalian quite substantially. Unfortunately, the time of the day was just far too hot to get to Kornos, and unfortunately, I've brought back a dose of the mosquito bites, which I ended in hospital with them last night. So,
oh no,
good and bad.
Well, at least you didn't end up in the hospital over there. That would not be fun.
That wouldn't be fun at all, no.
No, not on your vacation. Gypsy, my co-host for the All Metal Mode show, went down to Florida for a while and her big thing was it's a family thing, but she was so excited to get down there and go metal detecting. And before she left, she'd got I guess what she thought was a rash on her leg that turned into an infection. Her leg swelled, her ankle swelled. She barely got to metal detect, so she did not have a good time.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, well, glad to have you back, buddy. You're a great addition to the show, but I'll be honest with you. You being out a few weeks, I really appreciate you even more. So glad to have you back.
No problemo. Glad to be back. Hopefully, onwards and upwards. Obviously, we've got a few plans ourselves, as we've spoke about in the past, for the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine to do their own standalone podcast. So we've got plans in place to move forward with that in the near future. So obviously, that'll be mixing things up with archaeological guests more so as well.
Great. That's good news. Do you got the news?
I've got some bits and bobs. I certainly have. Right. You know me.
All right.
Quite a lot of things popping up of late with regards to the medieval time period. 86 skeletons have been unearthed from a hidden medieval graveyard in Wales, in Anglesey, and I've got family in Anglesey. I've spent a lot of time there growing up. Anglesey, Mike, is a small island off North Wales. It's a beautiful place, absolutely stunning. I've done a lot of metal detecting on the island as well, especially in the early 2000s for Cawood, which is basically the head Welsh authority for archaeology. So this site itself I've passed so many times growing up, especially when there's two bridges onto the island. The Menai and the Britannia. When the Menai Bridge was the only one there, to go to my auntie's, we had to pass this location every time. So it's fascinating for me to know the location pretty well, and all these medieval skeletons being unearthed. There's quite a bit regarding metal detecting finds that have gone through the Portable Antiquities scheme and now appearing in the news, being classed as treasure. One of them being a medieval gold and emerald ring found by a detectorist, which would have been a significant and wealthy individual who owned this, and this was in near Wingrave in Buckinghamshire. The final liaison officer, Sophie Flynn, said it was particularly interesting because of its curled shoulders, not known in other rings of the same area. So you're looking between 1,200 and 1,450 for that. Finally, a lady who I know through one of the groups I'm on Facebook, Andrew Jones, is a metal detector in Britain and beyond. Her name's Michelle Val. She struck gold up in Scotland, and an absolutely stunning gold armorial ring. Basically, what it looks like, if you know, Mike, of these seals that we have in the UK, you know when you put your wax on and then you put your seal impression onto it, the ring actually looks like one of them. I'm not sure without looking through 100%, but it looks like a seal ring where that would have been put on pressure on the wax to leave an imprint to say, obviously, who the person who owned it was. So that was up in Loch Lomond in Scotland that was found, and it's going up at auction this month, and it's expected to raise over £10,000. So there's some bits and bobs of news that threw together tonight. Obviously, onwards and upwards with this show, because we've got members of Team Rutus on tonight to discuss all and sundry about the Rutus and what the team is, etc., etc.
Well, so, hold on one second before we go there. We've got a few other things in the news. Andy Sampson, one of our very first guests on the show, just made a great discovery of Bronze Age axe head. How cool
Beautiful.
is that?
Well, as long as obviously this one isn't a prop.
Right.
Exactly. We've also got numerous rallies coming up over the next month or so. We've got the UK History Hunters, Detecting for Veterans, North of Tyne, and KC rallies all have big camp over rallies coming up. So if you'd like to find out more about them, look for their groups on Facebook, UK History Hunters, Detecting for Veterans, North of Tyne, and KC rallies. And of course, we also have ourselves, myself and Luke, will be attending numerous events over the coming month or so. We'll be definitely at the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally and also at Detectable. And exciting for me, we've had numerous new bits and bobs additions to our stall. We've got pop-up banners, we've got tablecloths, we've got other massive signs. We've got a collection of, hundreds of fines boxes. We've got some key rings, and I'm waiting for the delivery of some patches as well. So you'll be able to get hold of them on our stalls in the near future. Some of the other things. Firstly, a big thank you to everyone involved in the Rodney Cook Memorial third paper issue of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, which will be obviously given out. It's our third edition that we've made of the magazine in the paper format. That'll be going out at the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally next month. In particular, we'd like to thank Wyola Rudnia, Pete Terrell, Gary Blackwell, Dilek Gonule, and also to Barry Lawton, Scotty B, Scotty and Kimmy, Digger Dawn, Andy Sampson, everyone who've submitted stories. And of course, in this respect, huge thanks to Gary Cook for and his team for the organisation, the invitation, and input into the magazine. We also have a fourth edition coming out at Detectable. It's nearly finished. If anybody would like to submit an article towards it, the fourth edition will be coming out at Detectable. And don't forget, all these copies of the magazine are free. The giveaway magazines, the one at Detectable is in some way acting as a promotion for the event as well. It have a lot of Detectable information inside. So if anybody would like to submit an article, contact myself, editor at archmdmag.com to submit. And the other big news, we have now guaranteed 4 paper copies will be coming out next year. Issues 5, 6, 7, and 8. We are more or less got the funding agreed for them. So big year next year. So there you go, Mike. That's, I think, it's everything now, isn't it?
Yep, that's everything. Great, good deal. Great, you did great job. You know, you missed. How many weeks were you out? 3.
3. Yeah, I can't remember why. 3 weeks ago, can't remember that now. And I was 2 weeks in Turkey.
Yeah, and my point is, you came back. You had computer issues tonight. Come in late, and you still nailed it. Awesome job, Dave. Awesome job. We better get to our guest.
Honestly, these computer issues, I have a working computer that's been fine and dandy, and all of a sudden, it takes forever to log on. I was sending you videos before while I was trying to log on. When it finally gets on, program won't open for a massive amount of time, and I've had so much work to do, and I've got so much work to do before I go back to work that it's peeing me off now.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm gonna give it a slap in tomorrow.
Yeah, computers are never predictable. That's for sure. Tonight's guests are Tony Cawood and Adrian Gayler. This is going to be fun. There's a big announcement coming, and so welcome to the show, guys.
Good evening.
Good evening, gents.
Hi, Dave. Oh dear.
I apologize.
If you hear any funny noises off me, it's because I'm itching constantly, and I've got all sorts of little remedies all around me to try and rub on myself to stop the itch.
Oh, right, yeah. Mosquito bites, isn't it?
Oh, the mosquito bites that are infected and are having an adverse effect on my body.
Oh, my God. Ooh.
Sounds horrendous.
It certainly is. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you both for coming on tonight. Obviously, we're going to be talking generally about the Rutus Alta 71 machine and finding out more about, obviously, we've spoke to Tony multiple times in the past, finding out a bit more about yourself, Adrian, and about the link-up with Rutus that's recently taken place and the future of what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. Tony's probably better talking about that. Tony contacted me initially, didn't you, Tony?
I did indeed. Yes, we were on. We were on here before, weren't we, Mike? When we announced that Rutus were looking to establish a team.
Yes, sir.
And we've moved a pace since then, and we've now got a team of 7. The Magnificent 7, as I'm now calling them. That's probably why. Including Adrian, including Luke Higgins, who we all know and love, somewhere on the chat. Niall Brendan, who's the other half of UK Dirt Fishing. We also have Richard Lincoln, hugely experienced detectorist, who also made a cracking find at the weekend with a very, very old coin. Might touch on that later. And we have Yvonne London Marchant, another very experienced detectorist, and Matthias David, rounding up the 7 of us who are now Team Rutus UK.
Marvellous.
Well, I missed most of that because I'm coughing my head off. I don't know what's the allergies.
The British people are now Team Rutus. That's all you need to know, Mike.
Oh, good deal, good deal.
It's all right, Mike. I heard them.
Oh,
so, obviously, we've not spoke to Adrian before. Adrian, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, thanks, Mike, Dave, and also Luke for inviting me on the show. I've been listening for a long time now, and little did I think I'd be on here come Sunday afternoon. I've just been finding a load of coins and rusty nails and stuff, and then suddenly I found the ring, and Tony contacted me and Luke, and came on the show. But I've only been detecting about 3 years. Sorry, someone say something.
We've got a bit of reverb tonight, so if you heard anything like that, just crack on.
Yeah. Basically, my granddad back in the 70s started detecting. My uncle was in the RAF, and he got posted out into the States, and he picked up a Garrett metal detector. brought it back home, and my granddad and him did a bit of detecting in the field out the back. And as a young child, I don't know, 6 or 7, I used to go out with them and find the coins they were pulling up. And in those days, in the 70s, it was pretty much on the surface, and had a little play. And then my brother got a detector, my dad got a detector as they were older, and I used to have a little play in the garden. And funnily enough, my next door neighbour, James, he, when I was growing up, he had a little kids detector, and we used to play with that in our gardens. And about 3 years ago, I'm the high end of 40, and my wife said, you really need to get out, a bit more exercise. I've got a dog and I walk it. And I thought, I might look into detecting again. So I bought myself a detector, just a White's Treasure Master, and realised then I had nowhere to go. And bizarrely, within a week on Facebook, my mate James, who I grew up with, hadn't seen him for about 30 years, said that he'd just bought a detector. Does anyone want to go with him? So I messaged him. We got together, had a chat, and it pretty much went from there, really. We struggled at first getting permissions, like a lot of people do, especially in Essex. It's really, really hard. And I felt that if it was somebody knocking on my door wanting to come in my garden, I don't know them. I don't know where they're from. I've got a mobile number. And then I thought, well, I'll set up a website, get some business cards done. And me and James just went knocking on doors, only a few. James found social media the best route. He was very good at targeting local landowners, horse, paddocks, stables. And we basically, from that, in the last 3 years, have got quite a few permissions.
Sounds fantastic.
What an accomplishment to be metal detecting 3 years and go from that to being on the team. Team Rutus, that's an incredible...
I'm a bit of a... I like... unlike Dave, I like computers. I like dabbling with things. I've had probably 6 detectors in the last 3 years, and I've had Whites, I've had Minelab, I've had Golden Mask, I've had Quest. I've had quite a few machines, and it wasn't until end of last year, I was asked to do another thing. I was a founder member of a metal detecting club locally. This time last year, I saw an advert in the paper, and 7 of us turned up in a typical English pub, huddled in the corner, and I thought, oh, this looks fun. So I was set up Braintree Metal Detecting Club with the chairman, Brian Day, 7 of us, and just over a year, the club's been live, and we now have over 150 members, a good handful of permissions. And fortunately, Julian Evanhart, who's a friend of mine, comes as well to the pub to have a chat and a drink with us. So that's excellent, because he's been detecting with me a few times as well.
That's funny you mentioned his name. That's on my bucket list, is to sit in a pub and have a conversation with that fella. He is our very first show, unofficial show even, was Detective All last year, and I got to talk to him. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who he was from here in the States, and honestly, I talked to some great people that day, but he was my favorite, and I knew almost everybody I got to talk to, and just a fantastic gentleman, and quite fortunate. I'm jealous you get to sit in a pub and have a conversation with him on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, he's. It's good if you're not driving, but if you're driving, you can't drink. So, but like you go out with your mates, you have your finds, and you spend hours at home going through books and on the internet looking for what it is. Whereas I just meet Jules, and he's so clever at finding what stuff is, and he's 99.9% right. And there's always a story about when he found something similar, which is really interesting. he's been on a few digs with us. Some very interesting digs. I mean, myself, my mate James, and Jules, we went to a dig in Chigwell near London a few months ago, and it was in a very built-up area with some pasture land right in the middle, and we found some great finds there. But Jules, he had his CTX, and he was just pulling stuff up left, right, and centre, which we'd been over many times. We had a great day out then. But we detect, James and myself are quite fortunate. We have things from a disused cemetery in London. We've got a permission. We don't detect on the graves, but around the edge of the graveyard and the park area. That's a really cool area. We've also got a very large Victorian garden that's in a Japanese style, if you can imagine it, with a miniature bridge near us, which is all overgrown and derelict. Yes, we've got some good stuff. But the Rutus I had just before Christmas, that was lent to me to do a field test for Treasure Hunting magazine, who come to our pub sometimes to the metal detecting club meets. And I was a bit dubious at first because I looked at it and I thought, well, it doesn't look that modern and it looks quite heavy. And then as soon as I got it out the box and started putting it together, I thought, this is really well made. The powder coating's really good quality. The injection moulding's good. And it's not the lightest machine, but the balance is just so perfect. It's just lovely. The display, I think, is it the hodograph, Tony, I call it?
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
The hodograph. That is so accurate. It really, really is. And the tones are lovely. And I took the machine out and I did about 50 hours. And I was impressed with everything. I loved the way I could just turn it on, leave it in the standard coin mode, and it was finding stuff. And then I started tweaking the settings. I still haven't got to grips because it just keeps going on and on and on. I find little bits that we discussed this, didn't we, the other week, Tony, on email about settings.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, can I just interrupt while we're talking about Rutus?
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we have a number of giveaways, and obviously I'm trying to put in just so I can get this active. If anybody would like to enter our live competition tonight, the winners will be chosen by a random name generator. Now, Luke's having some problem with his computer, so the random name generator may not be able to appear on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Mag page on Facebook, so instead you may have to just trust him. But for a pen, a cap, and a rucksack, can you please comment in the Spreaker chat room tonight when I say hashtag Rutus to win the pen, cap, and rucksack? And as I say, Luke, I'll say when it's the end of the competition, and then Luke will go through the process of activating the winner. Sorry for interrupting. Please carry on.
Hold on real quick. I've got a question and I want to say something. Let's give people 1 minute, just a minute before we start that. And if you're tuning in and you're not in chat, when you started listening to the show at the bottom, a rectangle box came up with the pause button on it and stuff. Click on that box and you'll see a little chat bubble. It looks like a cloud. Click on that, sign up. It just takes a minute. I believe, again, you can sign up through Facebook, just using your Facebook name. It only takes a minute, and then you can come in and get involved in the giveaways here. And then Adam Biggin asked a question. Do you guys meet at the Western Arms?
Yes, we do. I think it's... yes, we do. First Wednesday of every month, 7 o'clock. Sorry.
I was going to ask, is that open for other people to come?
It's probably best if he finds our Facebook group and messages on there, because believe it or not, the second meeting we had 40 people, so we went from 7 to 40. The third meeting we had over 100 in the pub, and it's got so popular now. Fortunately, one of the members is the landlord of the pub, so now we have half of the pub closed off for our club meets, and quite regularly the car park fills up and people are queuing to get in. It's It's a bit.
How incredible!
Yeah, I think last night the fines cabinet I shouldn't say it had some amazing finds in last night. Stuff's really coming up, and there's all different machines. You've got guys there who've got a sort of 1970C scope, Equinox. Rutus is getting a lot of interest, probably because of me. But it's it's a good club. It's nice. It's very nice.
I have a question. Boy, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. I've used a CTX and a brilliant machine, but I will be honest and say I prefer the Rutus. What's Julian think of the Rutus?
To be honest, Mike, he doesn't, on all machines, he doesn't say they're bad or they're good. I think he thinks like me, you've got to walk over it. So whether you've got a sort of £50 Chinese detector or a Equinox 800 or a CTX, you've got to walk over it. But he's not really spoken. To be honest, we spend time talking about fines more than machines.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if it'd come up or anything. It's a really neat detector. I'm not putting down the CTX at all. I love the CTX.
No.
A brilliant detector, but
I think he tells me the ones he doesn't like, and I do as well. And the Rutus isn't in that. I'm not saying he endorses it in any way, but he's not bad about it. Funny enough, my friend James had AT Pro, really good machine, great. He was looking at upgrading, and he's actually just bought a few months ago brought a Rutus all 71, and it's great because when we go out detecting together now, it's a proper competition. We're tweaking around with the settings, and I think I love as well is the ability to shift frequencies because some detectors come near you and you just get so much interference. Whereas if me and James are detecting on 1400 hertz, he drops his down and I drop mine up or whatever, and we can carry on detecting. So we both go out and experiment with our settings and testing things and everything. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Not putting down the AT Pro at all. I think it's a brilliant detector for the money. It was great, but that and the Rutus aren't even in the same class. I mean, the Rutus is much deeper, much faster, just an all-around better detector. And I love the AT Pro. I have one.
To be fair, Mike, you say that, but there's a lot of people who use the other machine who might say that about the Rutus. It is individual taste and individual use. Wrong. Don't forget. In your opinion,
yes. In my opinion, they would very much be wrong.
Yeah. I think what's been really good the past year or two is because some good machines have been launched in the last 12 months, 18 months. Because they're new, people are buying them and they're selling their old machines, and they're selling good old machines. They're selling sort of CTXs, they're selling Garretts, Whites, etc. And you can really pick up some good machines at a good price on eBay now. And I think it's good that people are looking at that as opposed to buying some cheap Chinese copy or something, and they're buying a good detector that's easy to use like the AT Pro, and they're going out there and then they'll move on up to a Rutus or whatever. But I'd recommend a Rutus. I like being different as well. I've been using back in the late 80s, early 90s when everyone was getting 486 PCs. I acquired an Apple computer, and it was different. It was better at the time, and I sort of see the Rutus like that. It's something different, but it's more flexible. It's something you can work on. It's like a modern car where you can tune it up and tweak it, and it will last. I enjoy that side of it a lot, really.
One of our regular listeners, Lee Hull, he contacted me a while ago, recommendations machine, and I recommended the Rutus. And I think he's using one himself now, and I'm not 100%. His wife may have one as well. But Lee's having a lot of luck with the Rutus as well. And I think he's only had it about 6 to 8 months, but that comes from somebody, who's new to the hobby, and he's picked up the Rutus, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to learn a lot about it himself tonight. Also, while I'm speaking, hello to Julian and to Lisa as well, who are listening tonight. Hope you're both well, and hope you're nearly back to 100%, Julian.
Yes, I saw him last night. Well, we went clubbing last night, and Jules was fine.
Marvellous.
No, we didn't go clubbing. I was joking. He looks a lot healthier. Not that he didn't look well, but he's lost a bit of weight. But I think he's still taking it quite easy. But he looks well. Yeah. So where was I? I was talking about. I've lost where I was now.
You were talking about the best machine in the country at the minute. I think you were, Adrian.
Yes, I was. It's something that I like, and what I liked even more, being a typical British person, we always like the underdog. And when I found out how big Rutus was, and how many people are working there, and I just thought, and being designed and made by an actual detectorist, not some 3D computer software rendering application, I thought, I like this. My job, I work in marketing, and I think they've done a cracking job on the brand, the logo, getting the word out there. They've done a really, really good job, because their budget, there's no way they are able to have a budget as much as the big boys. So if you bring out something like that, it's got to be good, and it's got to work. And if it doesn't, it's going to fail. So, yeah, I did like that.
Somebody's phone keeps going off. If there's any way you can put that on silent, that would be great.
Yeah, it's mine. And if he's listening, it's my mate James. So stop saying, mention the ring. I will get on to that.
Time to wait. Hold up. We're still talking. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So did you want me to go on about the ring or the find?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. Yeah. I've just sent you, Mike, on the chat. The farmer would like me not to share too many images of it yet. So understandably, I've sent you a few pictures for you to look at. I don't know if you've received that, and Tony. But it started on Sunday, really. I've just come back from a fortnight's holiday in Cyprus, which I'd love to detect out there. Huge history. But when I did Google it, I realised that if you're caught metal detecting in Cyprus, it's €30,000 fine and minimum of 12 months imprisonment. So, quite harsh. So all holiday, I was sitting there reading my treasure hunting magazine and going on social media. And when I came home, James messaged me and said one of the permissions we had, which is in quite an old area of Essex, the farmer was harvesting. So got all excited, new batteries in my Rutus, and we drove out Sunday just gone in the morning, parked up in the field. That's one of the deals I have. James finds all the permissions and I drive, because I've got a 4x4 pickup, so we can drive into the fields. Got in the field, said hello to the farmer, hadn't seen him for a good 6 months, and we detected over 2 fairly small fields. We've been over them probably 6 or 7 times before, with various machines, but not the Rutus. The ground was extremely hard and dry. He'd just harvested it, so there was probably 3 or 4 inches of stubble. We put the small coils on the Rutus, and off we went. We went sort of up and down the field like you do, and we weren't getting many signals at all, really. James said he was going to play with the settings. I dropped mine down to 9.5 hertz, hopefully to get some more depth in the dry soil. And I said to James, I'm going to go over there, right near the edge of the field, where not a lot grows. I don't know if it floods in the winter but there's just not much stubble there. It was hard, very like clay soil. So I wandered over, and as I was walking across, I found a little magpie, sort of jay's feather on the ground. You've seen the Detectorists, haven't you, Dave? And
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I just picked it up and laughed and thought, if it's anything like the programme, it might bring me some luck. So I stuck it in the wire around my shaft on the detector. And I got to the corner of the field, ground balanced my Rutus, which is another thing I love. Sorry, being able to, the ground balance is great. And probably detected about 5 minutes, got a very, very faint signal. And I was running minus 90 to plus 90 toning, not 0 to 120.
Yep.
Just because I thought I'd see how it goes, because I detected on the field with that type of reading on old machines. And I got a very faint, lovely tone, but very low VDI. It was a reading about 20 to 22, 23. But the hodograph display had a pretty damn straight line. So I thought, well, it was reading between foil and gold. And I was thinking, it's going to be foil. It's near a ditch. It's going to be foil. The ground's hard. Is it worth digging? I'll probably end up sort of snapping my spade. So I dug down. It was showing quite near the surface. I dug down about 2 or 3 inches, lifted out a clod, put my pinpointer in, got a bleep, broke it open, and saw some very orangey gold ring. I pulled it out and looked at it, and my first thoughts were, this is a child's Christmas cracker ring. This has come out of a Christmas cracker. This is a toy. I looked at the stone. I thought it was plastic. Put it on my finger. Thought, fits my small finger. And bizarrely put it back in the finds bag and carried on. I then met up with James halfway through the field. Usual story. Found much? No. Found this coin, found that. And then the farmer phoned us and said he's combining another field just up the road. Could James bring his drone? James has got a drone. He does film. What we do is we film the farmer combining and send him the footage as a thank you, and he likes that, and it works quite well. So James put his drone up, and it was near some cottages where they had long gardens, so there was a lot of sort of trash in the field. I found, whilst James was filming, I detected, I found a toy Nerf gun under the surface slightly, a rubber egg, a 1970s cap gun, and some quite strange things. So I put all those in my finds bag, and then when we said goodbye to the farmer, he said, have you found much? I said, no, just some sort of junk, and laughed about the rubber egg. I don't know how that got. I didn't find it with the Rutus. It was a surface find. And then we drove home. I dropped James off, got home Sunday afternoons, nice evening, sat in the garden, had a glass of wine. Wife asked how I got on, find treasure, as she usually says, with my son and daughter laughing in the background. And tipped out the finds bag, showed her the ring. It's a little. Have you got the pictures, Mike? Can you see it?
Right, yes.
It is stunning. Oh
it
my
is.
God, that's a beautiful, beautiful ring.
Yeah, it's not a child's ring, is it? And my wife said, she said, it's really nice gold, and she said that's stones. Sorry. Oh, she said that stone is not plastic, and I said, do you think so? So I took a photo, messaged it to Julian Evan Hart. He came back with some 4-letter word. Can I call? And with the words, "Can I call you?" He gave me a call and said, "That's a beauty. That looks like a medieval bishop's finger ring." At which point I went, "Really?" He went, "Yeah." He said, "That's probably 14th, 15th century, could be even older." At which point I sort of had another glass of wine, told my wife, and my children came down and all got a bit excited.
They wanted to know you then, did they?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of people who've become my friends in the last few weeks, a few days.
And all of a sudden, it's not a nerdy hobby anymore, is it?
No, it isn't. Yeah, and I put the ring on, and the thing I loved about it wasn't the value or that's nice, whatever it's worth, but putting that ring on, the last time somebody wore that ring was probably 600-700 years ago. I think that, to me, is amazing. And also on the ring, you'll see a slight bend at the base of the ring. Can you see that?
Yes.
It's almost as if it's been caught. And I showed it to a girl I work with, Vicky. Her father's in the police, and she was saying that she's seen rings like that where people get their finger trapped on a fence nowadays. So it's made me wonder if the person wearing it was in a fight or sword or stabbed, or you don't know.
Under distress somehow.
Yeah. Which really is weird, thinking how it got there. So I wore it for the next day. I was so scared on losing it. I actually wore it. And I contacted my local Flo in Colchester in Essex this week, sent her a picture, and she came back to me very quickly, which was really nice because they are really busy at the moment. She was saying they're absolutely inundated. They can't get enough staff. And she confirmed that it looks like it's definitely treasure. And it's probably could be 1100 to 1300 century. Very unique design. However, a similar ring was found 3 years ago, 30 miles from here, which is quite exciting. She sent me the Portable Antiquities Scheme here in the UK, linked to the one that was found. It's very, very similar. And that's been acquired by a museum in Essex. So I'm hoping that now it's with her. It doesn't take too long before they can find out a bit of history about it and possibly where it came from. So, it's with them now. The farmers kindly agreed. He came with me to hand it in. He's really cool about it. He's pleased that I was truthful and admitted it and didn't just put it in my pocket, which is a strong reason why I think possibly we get good permissions, because we are honest with the farmer. We show them everything we find. If they want to keep things, they do, because it's their land, and they a lot of them do like the history on their land. So it is quite cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. That ring is stunning. I love that.
Can we put an end to the? Can we stop the Rutus competition now?
Yeah.
You've all put your hashtag Rutus, and Luke will go away, and we'll see what he does there. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, it's now with my local Flo and my friend James, who detects with me. Funnily enough, is going there tomorrow without me. So you might hear of more finds. He's going to detect in the similar sort of area. Yeah, that's what you call a friend. But
are you going later tonight to put some nails down?
A milk bottle shop. Yeah, actually, that's a good call, Tony. But I think what it got it for me was, it just goes to show with the Rutus, you can literally get it out of the box, turn it on, and detect, which is what I did when I first got it. I didn't mess with the settings. And as you do change the settings, you can find some great finds. And the one I really want to learn, which hopefully it's detectable, is apparently you can find types of pottery, can't it, Tony, or
yes.
Porcelain?
Yes.
Which is something which would be great. I quite often like finding old bottle dumps and stuff like that. That's quite interesting. But I'd like to really, really drill down. But it's just a continuous learning curve.
One question I have for you guys, and I would think if you're going to be at Detect Vol, I'm sure Rutus will be there along with Eric. I think you guys really need to talk to him and let him show you mixed mode. I don't think many people are taking advantage of that, and that, I'll be honest with you, I haven't used it either. And the big reason why I haven't really hunted anywhere yet where I think it would be beneficial, there's either too much modern trash or too much iron. But when you were telling me you're hunting in that field and you weren't coming across many signals, that's a perfect example of where that mixed mode will really come in handy. And although I haven't used it, I totally get how it's working. And have you guys used mixed mode at all?
No, I've read about it. Have you used it, Tony?
I run in dual mode as my preference normally.
Oh, dual mode, yeah. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, dual mode, mixed mode.
Sorry.
I mean, it's
I
apologize.
Yeah, I run in dual mode. Yeah, I run in dual mode.
Okay,
it's great.
okay, good. Do you guys like that? Are you finding some deeper stuff that the all metal mode channel's getting? Yeah, that's great.
Now, I would like to stop you here and ask, as Mike knows, as Tony knows, because I've emailed him while I've been out in the field. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to technology, and the Rutus and me, we get along, we find things, but I'm using it in the most basic version. And to be honest, what I've done, one of Luke's videos on the Rutus when he first got it, I've been using the settings that Luke set out in that video. Obviously, things are different at different parts of the country, on different sites and what have you.
Yeah.
As a complete and utter novice when it comes to the machines, I'm a technophobe. What would you suggest that I used to what settings? I don't understand the dual. I wouldn't know how to get onto the dual. So give me a bit of.
Well, the dual standard, isn't it, Tony? It's on. Is it version 2 you've got or version 1?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, dual standard, isn't it, on coin mode in version 2?
No.
No? Ah.
If you're starting out, Dave, then coin mode and or basic are both great programs whilst you get used to everything else, especially if you're a technophobe and don't want to press any buttons and stuff.
I've tried pressing buttons, but like with women, I'm very rubbish at it.
Really? I'm great at pushing my wife's buttons. She's mad at me all the time. I agree. Start off in the coin mode or the basic. What is it? Basic or general mode? I forget.
Basic.
Yeah, start off in that and just start learning it. Start digging and listening for those signals. Look at your VDI, see where things are coming in, and you'll get the hang of it quicker. But just keep it basic. That's the great thing about
when
it.
When I'm doing that, like you all are far more advanced than I am on the machine. When you say learn it, I'm learning it in basic. I know what I'm doing in basic. But then when it comes to altering bits and bobs to put it into dual mode or what have you, I'm a buffoon. I'm not going to know what to do. And I'm saying it like this so people who've got a Rutus who don't know, it's easier for them to pick up by what you all say tonight, especially me.
Well, when you feel really comfortable with it in basic, I mean, the great thing about it is that you could always leave it in basic. I mean, you don't have to. I know people who don't like messing with their detector settings and stuff. If you need something, if you need it a little bit faster, go up to your other programs. If you're wanting to go deeper, go into like your deep mode or I don't have all the modes in front of me, but so your modes, your big, what is it, big coin mode or big silver mode, that's a little bit slower. The it's processing signals a little bit slower, but it'll get deeper. The higher you get into like coin mode and then fast and I think super fast. I mean, you're getting in super high fast. Where you want that is where there's a lot of trash, a lot of iron, stuff like that. It would probably be better for emails and stuff for you and I to have a conversation. I could really help you along on that and how to kind of set it for yourself and some changes you can make and things like that. But I would say, don't be in a rush to stop to get out of the basic mode because the basic mode is just super great. Where you need to start learning it is where you run into situations where basic's not working for you or you're running into coke and stuff like that. But I can help you with that, or any of us people that have Rutus that use them could help you. So.
Yeah, but you're gonna be in bed with the timescale, Mike, when it's over in the UK. So I'll bother Tony, and he might be in the middle of a dig.
Yeah, there you go.
It's fine. It's fine though, Dave, because I mean we can. We're detectable, aren't we? So we can set you up then, and obviously with the version 2 software having some private programs, we can just save you one of the dual modes in there. I produced a settings document on the Rutus UK Facebook page forum. Which has got Aric's, there's 3 sets of Aric's programs on it, plus a load of other people's as well, which are pretty well laid out in as much as it tells you every single setting what that program has got on it. So it's not a case of, here's a set of settings that have only got 4 or 5 things and you're expected to kind of figure out the other ones. Everything is on there to change it and have a play with a new set of settings from Aric's through to mine. Rory's are on there. I think Luke's maybe are on there. We've got a fair few on there for you to go and have a play with what other people are using and finding success with.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
Yeah, they're really good. It's good you've done those, Tony. I know it sounds stupid, Dave, but have you read the instructions?
I read the instructions, but it goes in one eye and out of the other with me.
Yeah.
I think right first time, one ear and out the other.
They're really good instructions. I must admit, when I got the machine, I was quite impressed.
Viola said her and Eric mostly use BASIC with some small changes, and that's mostly what I do. I will say one thing that I'm not in love with on the BASIC. Well, not the basic settings on the detector in any of the standard modes is I like as much separation and tones as I can get. I don't have the hearing like some people do to hear those little tiny differences in the tone. So I separated one of the very first things I did is separate out my tones. So there's more variable, so when you hear a nickel versus, you guys different, a gold versus a coin or a silver coin, there's a lot more variable in the tone. But other than that, that's really, I have made some other small changes and stuff, but for the most part, that's the big one for me. And that's the great thing. You pull it out, you use it, in your stock programs, and you tweak it more for your liking, but you can also tweak it for ground conditions and stuff as well, which is really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Going back to the basic settings, I went to Spring Detectable this year, and there was a few people with Alta 71s and other Rutus models, and I was in the middle of the field. Did anyone go? Did you go, Tony? Or
no? I was on holiday.
Well, there was one field that was really hard ground. It was like chalk. And there were a lot of people digging and digging and digging just to get down a few inches. And I saw this lady, and she had an Alta 71, and she smiled at me. I went over to her, and I said, "Oh, hello, you've got a Rutus." And she didn't speak hardly any English. She was from Belgium. And I said, "How are you getting on with your machine?" She said, "It's very good." And I said, "Excuse the accent." She said, "It is very good." And I said, "What setting are you in?" And she had a version 2, and she was in basic. Later on that day, I saw her in the tent. She'd found 3 hammers, a sixpence. She'd found loads of stuff. And she won it in a competition, and she was over the moon with it. And she wasn't technical at all, and she just left it in the basic mode, and she was really finding a lot more than a lot of people around her. So that's when I started thinking, am I doing the wrong thing, messing around with all these settings? Because I don't think we do, I think, because we like doing it. And sometimes it might put people off. But realistically, like I said, you can just take it out of the box and turn it on and hopefully find stuff. Well, you will find stuff.
Yeah. I know Luke ran into a problem. It's probably been going on a year. And him and he was having trouble with Coke and Hot Rocks. And, he was easily able to adjust that out and hunt very successfully in a field that he was having trouble with. So not only, that's what makes the Rutus so good. You can just tweak it to however you like and whatever your needs are in your ground conditions, and it really is a special detector.
Well, I'm just actually printing out the settings on the what is it called? The Rutus Metal Detectors UK Users Group. In the files, the Rutus settings version 3 PDF. So what I do generally with this on other machines in the past, I will laminate them and keep them in the car with me at all times.
Yeah, I'm saying on there.
Yeah. So yeah, they're looking great. Obviously, from what I'm seeing, obviously you've got 3 different sets of settings for ARIC, being the forest, the dry pasture, and the wet pasture and ploughed. On the next page, we've got Tony's dual mode, Yvonne London Marchant's mode, Robert Burksick's mode, what he uses, Rory Linkas-Savica Tiny Silver mode, and Adrian Gayler's Coins and Dry Pastures mode. So yeah, they'll work great. Obviously, I'll go from basic and ease into these where I find it suitable. And obviously, anybody else who listening who is a beginner like me and doesn't like to be as yes, I'm not as good as everybody else thing. Some people don't like to say that out loud. Go on there. They're obviously free in the files. Get them out yourself, and I'm sure they'll help as much to me as they will you.
Yeah. No, thanks for that.
I just want to say, I think, if you look at the Rutus, it can kind of be very overwhelming if you see all the different settings. But what I would say is, you can just start off in the factory programs and run this detector very, very successfully. Don't be intimidated by it because it's a very easy turn on and go. It's probably got some of the best factory settings out of a detector I've ever seen. Rarely do I find factory settings very useful on a detector without making changes. And I can, even with the tones aren't quite where I like them, I can still hunt successfully with it just in the stock basic program. And so don't let all those settings and stuff get you, because 99% of what you're going to be doing, you can run it stock. If you run into a lot of hot rocks and coke, turn your hot rock down to -1. Try it. If it doesn't get better, try like -2. But it's pretty much set up perfect right out of the box. So.
Yeah, do you know, I don't know if I told you as well. A couple of weeks ago, I actually won a metal detector. A much maligned Dr. Otech machine.
Oh,
yes, I did that as well, and it came.
Thought they made pizza.
It came, and it is probably one of the most poor quality machines I've ever come across. It's appalling quality, but I've only done air tests with it because obviously I've been on holiday, and the air tests show it does a lot better than I imagined. So I've got obviously a report still on that in the near future as well. So just thought I'd throw that in there about Dr. Otech.
Yeah, the quality of the Rutus is good. It doesn't, pictures don't give it justice. The injection moulding of the battery case and everything, and the value for money is great, I think.
Yes, definitely.
One thing I don't think Rutus shout about a lot, and a lot of people don't, is the wireless module that comes with the machine for headphones. I mean, it's £40. It's nothing. It takes one AA battery, and you can use it with any headphones you want wirelessly, and just clip it on your belt. Or that is really good value for money. I haven't got one. I'm going to order one. Have you got one, Tony?
Yes, but I prefer running mine actually in wired. I use the wired headphones as like a safety line. So when I accidentally drop the Rutus, it bounds back up around my neck.
Right, okay.
String.
Can I buy it off you then if you don't use it? Yeah.
You can have it, mate. You can have it I'll bring it down when we go to Detectable.
Yeah, because we will be at Detectable, obviously. We'll be there.
Yes, there will be.
And speaking about the Detectable, you were just about to say about Team Rutus being at Detectable. Obviously, the Rutus store, you're going to be there more or less. Tell us a bit about Team Rutus in that respect.
Yeah, so the Team Rutus members, between us, we will be at Rodney Cook Memorial and Detectable. At Detectable will be myself, Adrian, Richard, Luke, and Niall. And at Rodney Cook will be Yvonne, Richard, Matthias, Luke, and Niall. So at each event, there will be 5 of us around either the Rutus stall or out in the field, logoed up. So if you see Rutus expert team logos, that will be us. Please say hello, ask us about the machine. We'll show you quick demos and settings, answer any questions that we can help you with, and generally be friendly Rutus advocates.
Again, I'm going to butt in. The draw has been done, and the video is on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine Facebook page, and I think Luke's also shared it to the All Metal Mode UK page as well. So pop on there to see the winner, and I'll announce it in 5 minutes or so. Additionally to that, obviously, you're going to be at the stall. I'm sure anyone could come and have a chat, ask you about. Well, obviously, I'm going to be popping over and seeing what you do, have a look at the ideas of what you're using, get some more information myself. Teams are going to be at the rallies. Tell me a little bit more about the other people who are going to be there. Obviously, we know Luke, we know both of yourselves now, but tell us a little bit more about the other people, where they come from and such like.
So we've got on the new Team Rutus UK website, which I think has been put in the chat bubble, but just so people are listening there, it's www.teamrutus.uk. We also, and you'll find on there, you will find a link to our new mobile app as well. So for those who like their smartphones and gadgets, Team Rutus UK have a mobile app, and we intend to keep both and other social media avenues open and full of our finds and tips and advice, things like that.
Fantastic.
Try and keep things nice and active, including, hopefully, as they become available, more pictures of Adrian's lovely ring. That now sounds bad. Now I've said it like that, so we'll go with his gold ring. Sorry, I'm not sure that's better. So we've got Matthias, David. So he's been detecting for quite a while, and he's a Rutus advocate through and through. Started with a Proxima 2 and moved up to an Alta 71 since last summer, and he detects around East Sussex and London. You will find him on Instagram under UK South Detectorist, so you can see some of what he's been up to and things he's found, and he will be at Rodney Cook. I will be only too happy to show you around the machine, and any tips and advice he can give you will certainly will. We also have Yvonne London Marchant, who will also be at Rodney Cook, and Yvonne is a very experienced detectorist and another one of the Rutus advocates. Yvonne has been using I think she said the Rutus is a second machine, and she loves it to bits. You'll find on her page some of her the finds that she's had on the Team Rutus website. We recently found out as well that Yvonne's one of Yvonne's other hobbies, and the rest of the team are absolutely fascinated by this, is making beer. So we're trying to persuade her to bring beer to Rodney Cook and Detectival.
I've got to say, as the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine co-editor, obviously I would like to test said beer just to see if it is a worthwhile experiment, and thereafter tell people about it via the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine.
Yeah, I'll help you with
We
that.
can probably swing that as long as Yvonne's okay with that as well. So we've got Yvonne, and Yvonne will be at Rodney Cook. We've got Richard Lincoln. Many people know Richard has been in the hobby for a long time. He's a very established and well-known figure, and another recent convert to the Rutus cause. And Richard will be at both rallies and will be around to help and show people around. And Richard's probably, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that Richard's the most experienced detectorist in the squad, as it were. So we're delighted to have him. And he found a really nice coin at the weekend. He found was it a Turok Potchin? Am I saying that right? Which is something like 100 BC or something like that. So again, found with a Rutus. So certainly pushing the fines out at the minute. And then, as you said, Dave, we've got Niall and Luke, who are UK Dirt Fishing. You'll hopefully have seen them in their videos. They will be at both sets of events. And then myself and Adrian, who you've probably heard a little bit about tonight, will be at Detectable as well.
And you know what? For me personally, it'll be a fantastic to meet you all, because more or less every person that you've mentioned there, I've heard of or I've spoken to numerous occasions. So it'll be nice to actually put names to faces and have a natter in the flesh.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, can't wait.
I'll cover the bar so we can make sure we speak to everyone. Is that all right, Tony?
You know this goes out as a podcast, don't you? So we've just recorded that.
Oh dear. Oh, dear.
So what will the team be doing around the Rutus stall itself?
Drinking.
other than drinking.
I'm looking at my ring.
Yes. So I think the plan is that we will be there to help show people around the machine, give people little demos, help people with things about settings questions and those sort of things, and generally be there to help assist and show off what is an absolutely fantastic machine that sometimes doesn't get the publicity because it doesn't have quite the marketing budget, as Adrian said earlier. But with a team of people there to help people have a look, help those who've already got one, help those understand, help those who've not got one, understand why they definitely need one in their lives. Through that and our social media, website, mobile app, etc., hope to push the Rutus even further this year.
So basically, I'm not going to be manning the Archaeology Metal Detecting magazine stall in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be learning off yourselves.
Yeah, I'll just leave a pile of magazines on your stall and come to ours.
Yeah.
Swap with Luke.
Great time. One of these years, I'm going to make it. One of these years.
This one would be a good year to come, Mike.
Yeah, it's not going to happen this year. I got a little nugget, son.
So obviously, for anybody who does come to Detectable, so anybody who's listening, come and say hello, obviously, to any of us, Archaeology Magazine or for the Rutus team. Obviously, the Rutus team will fill you in completely, and I don't mean in a good kicking way, but they'll give you as much information about the Rutus as they can. And I'll point it out and say, hey, that's a Rutus, because that'll be my probably limit.
Yeah.
You can point them at us, just say, go see those guys. Or in Yvonne's case, that lady.
That lady there.
Yeah.
So the Rutus application that you spoke of, where's that available from? Is that direct from the website?
Yeah, if you go to the Team Rutus UK website and look on the homepage, I'm just seeing where I hid it on the website that I've been building all week. Towards the bottom of the introduction paragraph blurb, you'll see a link to a mobile app, and the mobile app works on Android and iPhone, and content will be published on the website and on the mobile app for those who prefer, those younger people who prefer to look at things on their phone.
Like me.
Would say, I don't know if Wyola's listening, but the Rutus website has got a link to the app, but it's not working at the moment.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Yes, you're right. I've just pressed it and it's not working at the moment, but I'll keep my eye out.
Yeah.
Go to the Rutus UK website, Dave.
Tony's one, yeah.
I'm on the Team Rutus UK one as we speak.
Right, let me go and check. I'm on it as well.
So where you're in where's the blurb I was looking at? I think it was the home page. Yeah, it's the home page. Where you go down, it says not going to be there or just you're impatient. Check on this site or mobile app, which was a link, Instagram and Twitter. Mobile app isn't working.
It will be fixed within 5 minutes right now. I'm going to do it live.
Probably because millions of people are clicking on it, I would have thought.
That's as live as what I've just been doing, printing out all the different settings and laminating them. So I've done that live as well.
Mike?
Yes.
I've got a question. Is there many Alta 71 users in the States?
No, there's not. And the big struggle here is, first, it's hard to, you've got the big names that have been around forever here, and it's hard to break into it. But the big issue is I talk about the Rutus quite a bit, even on my U.S. shows, and people are interested, but people are so worried to buy it, have some kind of issue, and have to send it back overseas for warranty work and stuff. So it's hard. I would love to see Rutus available through a dealers or something here in the United States, because it is brilliant. I'm a huge fan. I make no bones about it.
Yeah, I was just interested, but yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Not that it will go.
I will say some have made it over for sure. Matter of fact, a guy that I know of, he really likes trying different detectors. He probably likes that as much as he likes metal detecting, and he's used a lot of different detectors. And I recently had a conversation with him, and the Rutus is currently his favorite.
Really?
So,
Wow.
that speaks volumes. I mean, he's got all the latest and greatest right now, and the Rutus is his favorite.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm. And I've turned a few people on. I've got a few people that have bought them, but a lot of people are just worried, what if I have an issue and I've got to send it back? The cost to send it back and get it shipped back would be, astronomical.
Yeah, true.
But every time I speak to Wyola, I always bring up, when are they going to come when are you guys going to have them available here in the United States? And I hope it's something they're working on. I think it is.
Yeah. Well, I follow a lot of forums, and I've got Google Alerts set up for the Alta 71, and I'm yet to find anyone who's had any problems. There are other machines that do have problems manufactured in Europe and further away, but I'm yet to hear of anyone having any problems. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Mine's been pretty much thrown around, dropped, even in the stream. I used it once to hold my fall when I slipped down a bank into a stream, and I've detected in shallow water with it as well. That might be one of the downsides to the machine. It's not all waterproof, but for me, I'm happy detecting in fields and pasture and areas. I think something's coming in the future, isn't it, Tony?
Yes, there's a new Rutus machine coming next year, which we exclusively revealed a few months ago, which will be waterproof. So watch this space for more announcements on that. And Dave, that link is now working. Thank you for putting that.
I'll have a look at that. Also, the winner of the competition was John O'Reilly. So, John, if you could contact Luke or myself, and I'll put you in communication with Luke, and you will get the bits and bobs in some capacity in the very near future. So thanks, Luke, for running that. Thank you to Rutus for supplying the prizes, and thank you for all for participating.
That's right. It's all right. Been good.
So where are we then? Obviously, what's next? what big announcements have we got this evening, if any?
I believe we covered everything. I did want to kind of reiterate, I have yet to hear anybody that's had problems as well. And I often tell people that who are here in the United States thinking about buying one. You're right. I mean, they're such a quality build, and no, I've had zero issues. I know that. And I've not heard of anybody else with any kind of issues. So,
yeah.
It's promises next year, Mike.
I'm sorry. What's that?
Wyola said she promises next year for the US, Mike.
Oh, that is awesome. That is great. I can't wait. I think it'll be a big hit.
We get to come on your other show then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Would love that. It'll be about 2 a.m. your time, though.
I don't sleep. It's fine.
Good deal. Yeah, we'll have you on. Love to have you on anytime.
You might have some Rutus beer by then.
Yeah. Now, if I have you on the U.S. show, you got to send me some Rutus beer.
Do you know, I was looking at having some brewed for Detectable last year, but unfortunately, I mean, I spoke with the owner of the brewery, and it was going to be made, and it was all going forward and what have you. It was just at the end of the day, the cost was astronomical in relation to what I could afford and what I had to buy. He'd even planned out the whole label and everything, and that was a company called Cheshire Brew House here in Congleton. But yeah, been there and thought of that.
I make my home brew, so I might bring some along.
And the app mobile app still doesn't work, my friend.
You've just been awkward now, haven't you?
No, I will send you a screenshot of what comes up instead.
I'll send you one back of mine working.
Right, yeah. There you go, sent. So what's next? What's next for yourselves in what capacity in the future? Are we off out? Have we got any plans for detecting? Is there anything big on your personal landscape metal detecting?
Well, I get out nearly every weekend and try and get out in the week with my mate and the club I'm in. We go on digs. I'm thinking about doing some YouTube videos, but with my job, I spend a lot of time with social media and stuff, and detecting's like a break for me. It's like my chill out time, but I would like to do some videos on YouTube in the future. I think especially, fortunately, some of the places I detect got lovely scenery, lovely backdrops. I'm thinking about doing that, but going to Detectable, also going to Kimbo's rally. Have you heard of that?
No.
Kimbo's rally. Going with Treasure Hunting magazine. Probably Jules on that.
Marvellous.
Definitely encourage you to do some videoing, mate, even if it's only every now and again.
Yeah. I keep meaning to do it, but I don't know. I get carried away in detecting. I don't know. I'll see how I go, but I do enjoy my detecting too much. It's my sort of chill out time.
I understand, mate.
Yeah. And there are a lot of videos out there now. I struggle now each night when I go to bed watching them, and there's certain favourites I follow on YouTube, and it takes me a couple of hours to get through those.
Obviously, the best ones are TC Detects and UK Dirt Fishing.
Who? Yeah, no, I watch yours, Tony. Yeah, I like Addicted to Bleeps. Chris, he's fantastic.
Chris is good.
Really, really good.
He uses a Rutus sometimes.
Yes, I know he's got an issue with his arm, isn't he, at the moment? So I don't know how that's faring, but his videos I've been watching for a long time, and his mental health one was great. He really I loved the way he explained what makes detecting so great and how it affects your brain, because it's 100% for me. I mean, I just love getting out in the field. I can spend a whole day, find nothing, but I've been out, I've had exercise, fresh air, I've seen nature, and that to me is what it is all about. And if I find stuff, I find stuff. If I don't, I don't. It's a great hobby. Really, really good.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah,
Doesn't really matter.
Since I've found the ring, I've had a lot of friends contact me, and it is amazing how many people now say, not because of the ring, but because they've read a little bit more into it, they're sort of beginning to say, "Oh, could I come out with you? Oh, could I go detecting? Oh, how much is a machine? What do I do?" I think it's going to grow because I don't know your age, everyone, but I grew up in the 70s, so I grew up when metal detectors were peaking, air rifles were peaking, and everything else. And I think how when you get in your 40s and you've got a bit of disposable income, you go and buy a really high-powered sports car or motorbike, you try and relive your youth a bit. I bought my son an air rifle, which he shoots in the garden, and that's one of the reasons I got a detector, because I wanted to get back and do good things rather than sit in front of television all day long and computers and stuff like that. Just wanted to get out there.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I can see them go. I can see metal detector sales hopefully increasing.
Well, we've obviously had a spike in the UK. I personally believe that we've got more metal detectorists in the UK than ever before, even more than back in the 70s and 80s. All obviously thanks to Detectorists, a fantastic program which has brought a lot of interest into the hobby, but also the amount of media exposure and the amount of information that's readily available. And obviously the work that the likes of Treasure Hunting magazine are doing, it's bringing more and more people into the hobby. So I don't know, we may be due to hit a bit of a peak, and it might trough thereafter. Obviously, as we spoke about earlier, there's a hell of a lot of bargain metal detectors on eBay. So could that be the case that we are troughing now? Have we reached the pinnacle over the last year or so, and are we on a drop again now? But yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor that trend anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the Detectorists loved that program, and when that came out, I just started detecting, so a lot of people sort of were taking the mickey out of me. But I'm quite excited because we've got a permission last year. You've all seen the Detectorists. Do you know the bit where the chap's on the canal boat?
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually, myself and James, detect on the permission just behind that, right next to the canal. So we get very excited when we go detecting around there and sort of pretending we're the Detectorists.
Is it a bit choppy?
What, the
water? It's a line from the show.
Oh, no. It's actually massive.
We just thought you were going to get it.
Yeah. No, it's massively floods there, actually, and it's just put loads of tin cans.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but no, we got a good permission, which is right near there. And the village hall, Danebury, the local village hall near me is called Danbury. So I don't know if they based it on around my area. It's filmed
hold on, the village what?
The village hall where they sit, Mike, and have their meetings in Detectorists.
Oh, goodness. Okay. It sounded like you were saying something else completely.
Oh, right.
Okay, good deal. I was thinking, whoa, I don't know if we should go there. If we should start having a conversation about the village. Yeah.
Yeah, we have villages and we have village halls, Mike.
Okay, yeah. Halls. Okay, gotcha.
Halls, yeah. And it's called Danbury Village Hall, and the one near me is called Danbury Village Hall. Yeah, so there's a lot of things similar to that. A few bits, I think, were filmed near me. Not that it's really relevant, but it gets me a bit excited. I'd love it to come out of a new series, but I don't think it will.
It would be nice.
Yeah. Mike, Tony, you're a script writer, aren't you?
I am, yes. It was actually through script writing that I got interested in detecting, because I saw somebody else recommended Detectorists as a great TV show that was really well written. So I watched it from a screenwriting point of view, and that sort of got me introduced to metal detecting. So it's all Mackenzie Crook's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
Could we not set up the Ruterists? Could you not write something for us? We have a little stage.
I'm thinking that title, Adrian.
Who coined the Ruterists? I like that. That's pretty brilliant.
Just now.
I love it. You guys need to go with that, I think.
Yeah. I'm looking up the domain name now.
There you go.
Yeah.
I
think that is quite good, actually. I'll come up with that.
I have a metal detecting show script pilot. I might call it the Ruterists now.
Oh, I'll be in it. That'd be quite good.
I've got to have a walk-on part of a general fat bloke
with bad legs.
Yeah, with very, very bad legs.
Do you guys need a fat guy from the United States in it with a big beard?
No, it never comes. No. never comes over.
We could do a toilet scene.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's not go there. I'm already in trouble. Let's just let that go before I'm in trouble with Luke again. Yeah, Luke was not happy about that.
I could just see Dave in the background walking past with his machine, scratching his head, looking confused.
With a toilet roll.
Adrian, that's Dave's life in general.
Oh, right.
Oh, hold on. Yvonne might have it. She said the Altarist. That is pretty good, too.
Like it, Bob.
Now I'm torn.
What about the 71ers?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, but certainly they're going to be coming out with other detectors.
As long as it's not 69.
Yeah.
That would be an American football team, that wouldn't it? The 69ers.
Okay, guys, look, you're revving me up here. We're going off the rails. That's where I really get bad. So I'm just warning everybody.
I'm going to carry on camping mode.
Dave, I'm sure you didn't listen to the show, but when I had Chris on Addicted to Bleeps, you weren't here to take over the show, and I was on. I had an infection in my leg, and I was on some medication that was really working on me.
Mike, I've heard all about it.
Okay, yeah, Luke, I got in so much trouble with Luke. He's like, it's been a half an hour, Mike. It's been a half an hour. You're still talking about it, so yeah, still in trouble.
I was saying how I nearly crashed my car the other day listening to the podcast with laughter. A hot sunny day with the windows open in my car, talking about two men going to the toilets. Sounded very strange.
Hey, do you know, Mike? I'll have to put some pictures on. My brother collects coins. He doesn't metal detect; he's disabled, but he collects them from auctions and such like. And I've picked up a number for him in a Congleton auction a couple of weeks ago. Coins and tokens and such like. Excuse me, I'll have to put them on the All Metal Mode UK Facebook page. But they're absolute. There's gold sovereigns. I don't know what year, but there's some absolutely fantastic big tokens and such like. One in particular from Germany is absolutely stunning. And it's the size of the palm of your hand. So I'll have to dig them out tomorrow and put them on.
Very cool. That'll be neat. Yeah, put them on. Let's see them.
See how I changed the where the conversation was going again there.
Yeah. You gotta save me from myself sometimes, as we know. You're good at that. Very good at that. Well, guys, is there anything else, or do we want to wrap it up? Are we getting close to wrapping up, or where are we at here? Anything else we need to announce or say, or you want people to know about Rutus?
No.
Just look out. No. Detectable or Rodney Cook and come say hi.
The same with ourselves at ArcMag. Obviously, you will see a brand new stall, and you can have your picture taken with Archie or Luke. Not me. I'll cover the photograph. So just Archie or Luke. Greatly looking forward to it. Greatly appreciated of all the efforts of everybody to put in their articles and the work and such like forward to go in the magazine. So again, please can I reiterate, anybody who would like any written work put into the Detectable magazine, which there's going to be 1,500 copies, so they will be going out to anybody who wants one, plus the leftovers of which will be going out to several different UK rallies they'll be giving away for free. So, please consider that. We would be very grateful, obviously, and I'm sure it'd be nice for you to see your own personal work put into in your terms and your images put in a magazine free for everybody to see. So please consider that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And if it's really good, we'll even let Julian have it as well.
Yeah.
Scotty B said after this podcast, he's interested in the Rutus. It's a absolutely brilliant detector, Scotty. It's something I can't. One thing that I can't stop saying. I didn't word that exactly correctly there, but when I first got my hands on one, I knew that there was something special about it, and and where that comes from is Eric. And I didn't know this at the time. Eric is not only is he an engineer, obviously, to make this, but he's passionate about metal detecting, and it really shows. And I think that's one thing that's missing with so many manufacturers. I mean, they're making great detectors. Don't misunderstand me. You can give me any brand, just about, at least your main brands, and I can tell you some really great detectors they build. I'm not brand loyal. There's a lot of different detectors for different needs, but rarely do you see an owner, an engineer who's passionate about doing it. I mean, I'm not talking negatively about any of the manufacturers, but most of them have their own designers. Then they have somebody who's the engineer. A lot of these engineers, they're great at what they do, but they don't detect, or they take them out and test them a little bit, but their passion isn't metal detecting. And that is truly what makes the Rutus such an amazing detector. And it really showed to me, because I've used many, many detectors over the years, and right away, I mean, after minutes, a few hours, I knew that there was something special about it. And it really is just an awesome performer, depth, quick. It's so adjustable and so customizable. The hoodograph, I don't think people really talk about that enough, because it's just another form of ID that is very gives you a lot of information. You can look at that. You set your tones up where they work right, and you don't need your VDI. You can, but just from the tone, and then I'll look at the hoodograph next, and then I might look at my numbers. It's just a fantastic detector.
Yeah. I think definitely it's something when you pick it up. I just felt it was right for me. I'd had lots of machines beforehand, and there was just, I don't know what it is, just something I felt was right.
And I think it's worth as well pointing out, Mike. I think because obviously it sounds a little bit fanboy tonight, because we're all big Rutus users and lovers, but the 7 of us in Team Rutus UK are all doing it on a voluntary basis as well. We're not being paid for our efforts or anything like that, although I'm sure we'll get some nice logo T-shirts. But we do it because we genuinely think it's a great machine. We don't need to be paid to tell people how much we love it.
Right. Yeah. Same here. I mean, I don't have anything in here to gain. I think it's a brilliant detector. I really do. I'm not a very brand loyal person. There's a lot of different detectors I like, but the Rutus is very, very close to my heart. It really is.
Yeah, I can second that, Tony. I'm first to moan about something if I don't like it, and the Rutus, when I got invited onto the expert team, I just wanted to jump at the chance, because when there's something good out there, I like people to hear about it. If there is bad things about it, I will say it, and I've always said that about any metal detector I've had.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, let's wrap it up. I think it's a good time to end the show, and unless there's anything add? Dave, what about you?
No, obviously, it is in the UK. It's metal detecting season. I know it doesn't go away, but we more or less know it as metal detecting season now. So good luck to everybody. Anybody who does have any fines of consequence, please consider putting them on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine Facebook page or group for us to look at, and also the All Metal Mode UK podcast group, so Mike can see them firsthand. That'd be great. And obviously we appreciate everybody's input tonight, as ever, and we'll look forward to speaking to you all again in the future and meeting you over the autumn.
Yeah, great. I'd just like to say, Mike, Dave, and Luke as well, thanks ever so much for inviting me on tonight with Tony. Really, really do appreciate it. And also a quick shout out to my metal detecting club, Braintree Metal Detecting Club, everyone there who I'm sure is listening tonight. And above all, the mate I metal detect with, James, really want to thank him for helping me get the permissions that we have detecting, and also taking all the photos. He takes all, you might see my profile photos. He's really good at taking photos. So thanks to James.
It's been a pleasure having you on.
Absolutely pleasure, and thank you guys for coming on. We've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Cheers and night all.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good
Thanks
night,
again.
everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, Dave.
Bye.
No.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. We wrapped it up. Before we go, on Facebook, North of the Time Detecting, check them out. Addicted to Bleeps, Metal Detecting UK Dirt Fishing, C-Scope 6MXI UK Group, All Metal Mode Podcast UK. If you'd like us to add a group, reach out to me, Dave, Luke, and we'd be happy to do that. On YouTube, Dirt Diggers UK, Addicted to Bleeps, Shilling King Metal Detecting UK, TC Detects, Grim Bleepers, Aaron from South Coast Detecting. And if you're in the market for a new metal detector, check out LP Metal Detecting, www.leisurepromotions.co.uk. Good night, everybody, and thank you for tuning in.
The Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine acts as a hub for information, offering articles from archaeologists, detectorists and other specialists throughout the genre, featuring many links, event info and news articles associated to archaeology and metal detecting. We also offer professional review services and promotion for books, resources, videos, documentaries, gadgets, equipment and much, much more. The magazine is run by the archaeological and metal detecting community for the archaeological and metal detecting community. So come visit us at archmdmag.com, that's archmdmag.com, and check out information from our media section with all the latest content, news from the Archaeology channel, podcasts and the YouTube channels that feature the now legendary Digger Dawn, The Man with the Hat and Archeo Duck, just to name a few. If you would like to offer an article, link or inquire about other services, then pay us a visit at archmdmag.com and drop us a line.